So I was looking at the Khan Academy assignments, and I see that a lot of the people had hard time with the compound inequalities. But I'm assuming in the classroom we also talked about it. That might be the reason the questions on Khan Academy sometimes tends to be a little different, at least the answers. So I'm going to do an example over here, and then I'm going to actually skip to Khan Academy and do something from there. All right? But on a side note, of course, if you guys, since both of you guys are the only ones right now, if you guys have anything else in mind, like that you guys want me to show, you are more than welcome. You need to say something at this point. Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay, so you're good with the compound inequalities?
No, I'm not good with like this. Like I feel like I have a hard time with the or.
No, like you're good with me going on with this today.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. That's all I wanted to hear. Awesome. So, first of all, you have the or kind of compound inequalities, and you're going to have and inequalities. So the idea of it is, when you have an or, either inequality that's given, either this one or this one, is they have to be satisfied individually. They don't have to be like in the AND case. You have to make sure your answer satisfies both of those inequalities. But for or, you don't need to. Any of them satisfied will be okay as an answer. So that being said, let me try to explain this question and we go from there, okay? So, solving part of any inequality will be exactly like solving an equation, except for one rule. When you are dividing by a negative coefficient, you have to flip the sign. So let's start. On the first one, 6r plus 2 greater than negative 16. So if I subtract 2 from each side, 6r plus 2 greater than negative 16. Can you guys see fine?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
If I subtract 2 from each side, right, I'm going to have 6r, while this is canceled, greater than negative 16 minus 2. By the way, that being said, have a calculator in hand. If you don't have a physical one, use your computers or your phones at this point, but definitely utilize a calculator, because at this point you might not have to, but there might be numbers that, especially with the division, etc. Just make sure, and that'll also help you when you use the negatives and the positives. When the answer comes out, it's going to come out correctly. Okay, so 6r greater than negative 18. Divide by the coefficient over here, 6, and let's see how this is going to be happening. Oh, perfect. R is greater than negative 3. I found one answer. Circle it, because that's what I need to use. Now I have an or. So, or. The other equation is negative 10r minus 9 greater than or equal to 61. Look, I have a negative 10, so this is important over here. So make sure you pay attention, and when you're dividing, flip this side. So add 9 to each side, add 9 to each side. Well, this is cancels. Oops. These little things happen, so bear with it. It's with the touchscreen thingy. So negative 10r greater than or equal to 61 plus 9, 70. Now I'm dividing by negative 10. Because of that, the sign will now flip. Okay? And now I have r less than or equal to negative 7. Circle this through. Now let's go to the graph. But let's first think about what this answer is telling me. The answer set that I need to have can be either greater than negative 3 or less than -7. So the or means either one of them is okay. So in Khan Academy, this answer on the options would be r greater than -3 or r less than or equal to -7. But when you are doing this as a graphing way, your answer would be like this. Let's do the first one first. Let's do that with green. R is greater than -3. First thing first, mark the number that you are working with, and that's -3. Second thing, look at your sign. You don't have an equal, so this is going to be an open circle. So make an open circle right at your -3 point, and it says every number greater than is this side. This is positive, right? So this is one graph, one part of the graph. The next one is, let's do that with this purple. R less than or equal to. Before people get confused, I'm going to erase this. Okay. R less than or equal to -7. So I'm going to mark my -7, but this time, because it has an equal, it's going to be a closed circle. So I'm going to mark my -7 with a closed circle. And it says less than or equal to, all the less's this side. So in reality, the only numbers that does not satisfy this equation are the numbers between -7 and -3. All the other numbers are okay because it says or. Now, let's try an and. The idea of the and is with the answer solution set, answer set, I have to satisfy both of these equations. So no matter what, whatever numbers that I have has to satisfy both of them at the same time. Not like or had to do it just once, just either one of them. So let's start with this one. 7 plus 4b greater than 11. So 7 plus 4b greater than 11. Subtract 7 from each side, and you're going to end up with 4b greater than 4. 11 minus 7. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and b is greater than 1. Circle your answer. Important to circle your answer, trust me, because you're going to have a lot of numbers, etc. You don't want to confuse yourself. When you come to a final answer, circle it up. Now, the next one is 3b plus 5 less than or equal to 11. 11. There we go. Subtract 5 from each side. 3b less than or equal to 6. That is the worst less than or equal to sign. Oh, wow. It's not going to cooperate with me. Come on, buddy. Come on, don't do this. There we go. Less than or equal to. Perfect. B is less than or equal to 2. All right. Now, this is the idea. I'm going to graph these and then talk about what they mean because it says and. B is greater than 1. This is going to be a open or a closed circle?
Open.
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 Yep. Because I don't have the equal sign. Meanwhile, this one is going to be a closed circle because I have an equal sign. So all the numbers greater than 1. Open circle greater than 1. All right? And then all the numbers that are equal to or less than 2. And boom. Look at the solution set. Look at these circles. Perfect. I have to satisfy both of these equations, and the only number sets that will crossing, overlapping each other are between 1 and 2, right? The 1 is an open, so it is just less than, because all my b values are between here, and that's b, but it can be equal to 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
See, once I mark those points with the, once I get my inequalities solved, and once I mark it, because on Khan Academy, they don't give you the graph. So you have to visualize it. And it can be really tough to visualize when you are talking about negative, positive, overlapping. So there is no need to work your brain for no reason like that. Grab a paper and a pencil, which you already should be having when you're working with this, and make up a line. Don't write all these numbers. Just, this is what I do. If I didn't have the graph, okay, if I didn't have a given graph to me, this is how I would do it. I would take my, let's say, I'll take the blue. I would make a basic line like this, literally. Put a 0 in between somewhere so I know my negative and the positive side. And then only thing I would do is write these numbers that I found. That's 1, and that's 2. And then mark the inequality. Oops. Let's go red. Oh, come on, cooperate with me. There we go. And once I do this, 1 b greater than 1. Okay. And then b is less than or equal to 2. Okay. You see what I'm doing? Same thing. The only difference is I don't need to write all those numbers. And then this is my overlapping area that I see both two different colors. Help yourselves with the colors. Now you are at home. I mean, use your colored pencils, etc. There is no reason for you to make as easy as possible to your eyes right now. So after I write this, again, only thing I'm writing is these two numbers, 1 and then 2, in between my variable. And then I'm looking at the sign on the 1, which is just a less than. I'm looking at the sign on 2, that is. Because my b is in between here, so b is greater than 1, so it means 1 is less than b, and b is less than 2 because it's on the left of it, but equal to as well because of the closed circle. All right, guys, that's the type that generally helps with of the questions on Khan Academy. The only thing I recommend you guys to do is obviously this graph part. Just give yourselves a chance to see what you solved. So I'm negative 7x plus 1 greater than or equal to 22. So I'm going to subtract 1 from each side, and I'm going to end up with negative 7x greater than or equal to 21. Because I'm dividing by a negative 7, I'm going to flip the sign. So it's going to be x is less than or equal to negative 3 for the first one, okay? Now, or negative 10x plus 41 greater than or equal to 81. So if I subtract 41 from each side, I'm going to end up with negative, come on. Okay then, so you're not going to let me write here. Negative 10x greater than or equal to 40. Again, I'm dividing by a negative 10. Negative 10, the sign will be, the sign will be flipping. So I'm going to have x is less than or equal to negative 4. Now let's talk about these. There is no graph, and I really cannot make my mind. So I'm going to just mark these numbers. let's say 0 is over here. Let's make this a little different. Where is my, okay, quick. All right, let's get back to the pen. Oops, come on, bear with me. There we go. So, oh my goodness gracious. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna help me. It's gonna make it worse. All right, so I'm gonna mark those numbers. I'm gonna call this my -4. And then I have a -3. -3 is greater than -4. So give yourselves some space. That's why I wanted to erase and do all this. Now let's draw. X is less than or equal to -3. X is less than or equal to -3. It goes this way. You guys get the idea. And the other one is X is less than or equal to -4. So it also goes with the same side. You guys see? You guys see the overlap? Now, the answer I have is, I'm sorry, the question I have is or. My answers are X is either less than -3 or equal to -3, or less than -4 or equal to -4. X is less than -3 already has X is less than or equal to -4 inside it. This whole big red line, X is less than or equal to -3, already has the X is less than or equal to -4 in it. So when you answer this question, come on, work with me. Come on, there we go. When you answer this question, your final answer is going to be X is less than or equal to -3, because that is it has X is less than -4 in it already. It's an and question. So let's talk about this one. Because it's an and, I have to satisfy both of these equations with my solution set. All right? So 12x minus 39 less than or equal to 9, and -4x plus 3 less than -6. So be careful, you got a negative over here. So let's start with, oh, that's my dog. Divide by 12. Oops. And what am I doing? What divide by 12? That dog totally messed me up right now. So add 39 to each side. Okay, it's not going to work with me. This is what I'm going to do. Give me a sec. I think this is going to be better. So, all right, this will be much better. Let me get a nice marker. All right, 12x. Oh yeah, this is much better. Less than or equal to 9. You guys can see, right?
Yep. Yes.
And -4x plus 3 less than -6. Let's solve it and see. Add 39 to each side, and you will end up with 12x less than or equal to 48. Divide by the coefficient besides your variable. Cancel the coefficient. X is less than or equal to 4. Let's make a number line over here too. I just did a little number line. Oh, it doesn't. I'm losing light. Let's see what this will do. Oh, perfect. Much better. So I made a little number line on the bottom. Now let's solve the next one. 4x, -4x plus 3. So subtract 3, -4x less than -9, -6 minus 3. Dividing by a negative number, so my sign will be changing, flipping. X is greater than negative 9 divided by negative 4, and x is greater than positive 9 over 4. So at this point, I really cannot tell, because especially now that I have a fraction, improper fraction. So just take your calculator and divide. 9 divided by 4 will give you 2.25. That's a little bit greater than 2. But I really don't care. Just mark those numbers. That's all it matters. 2.25 and 4. Those are my numbers. And then let's look at them. X is less than or equal to. So this is going to be a solid circle. X is less than or equal to. Let's make these over here above it. Oops. Let's make it above it over here so you guys can see. X is less than or equal to. This is X is less than or equal to 4. And then the next one is X is greater than 2.25. So X is greater than, it has to be an open circle, right? So open circle greater than is this side. Now, let's talk about what this means. I have and. I have to work with and. I have to satisfy both of these equations. And I have an overlapping, look, between these two values. So what I'm going to do with this is, let me grab another marker. Give me just 1 sec. There we go. So because it's an and, I have a variable that's going to go right in between x. The numbers that I'm working with are 2.25 and 4. Actually, you know what? Let's put our x over here. It's even better. And then I'm going to look at my signs. My x's are between 225 and 4. The 225 is less than my x. There is no equal sign according to this. So I'm going to put my less than sign. And then I come to 4. My x can be 4 because it has the equal sign, but it has to be less than or equal to. So let's see on Khan Academy, which one does this answer correspond to? X is, let's see, can we see all of them at the same time? Of course not. We'll figure that out. What did I catch over here? Infectant wipes. All right. And you know what? You guys got the idea. 2.25. Obviously, on the Khan Academy, they didn't give me as a decimal. They gave me as a fraction. So 9 over 4 less than x, and that's less than or equal to 4. So the only answer that matches my answer is B. And hopefully, there we go. So let's solve it. What do I need to do first?
Subtract the 8 from both sides.
Subtract or add?
Add.
Add. Because I always have to do the opposite, the inverse operation. So 3x less than or equal to, what would that make? 23 plus 8, 31. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Since this is Khan Academy, I'm going to leave it as a fraction, okay? So obviously, looking at the answers, yep, they want me to leave it as a fraction. X is less than or equal to 31 over 3. Now let's do the next one. What's important about this next part? What should I be careful about? What should I be careful about over here?
The negative.
Yep, the negative. So my sign's going to be flipping at the end. So see that when you read the question, negative 4x, right away, you should be thinking about, okay, sign needs to be flipped. And that's going to come to you with more exercise, more practice. Okay? Negative 20, minus 26, and minus 26 from both sides. And I'm going to have negative 4x greater than or equal to 6 minus 26 is negative 20. Now, I see sometimes confusion. The only negative number that I'm worried about to flip the sign is the number beside my variable. This number can be negative or positive. That doesn't matter. I'm only worried about the number beside my variable. So when I divide this, I'm going to change my sign, and x will be less than or equal to positive 5. So I have a 5 on the answers. I have 31 over 3. So it seems like I'm on the right path. It is or. So either one of these answers will be okay, right? So let's draw the number line. This is my number line. And both of these equations are with an equal sign. So x is less than or equal to 5. Let's put our 5 over here because 31 divided by 3 is going to be something like positive 10. I'm going to put my 5 over here, and this is approximately 10.3. I'm going to put that right over here. Oops, color mix up, color mix up. This is going to be with the blue. There we go. Now let's mark that. X is less than or equal to 5. All the less than or equal to goes this way. And x is less than or equal to 10 something. Let's write this, 10.3. And it goes like this. Look, it says or. This is the important part. Pay attention. Because it's saying or, either one of these graphs are okay. But look, x is less than or equal to 10.3 or 31 over 3 already has x is less than or equal to 5 in it. You see what I mean with that when I say it's already in it? It's already a part of it. You guys understand that when I say it's already a part? Look, this whole blue line is my solution set for this equation, and this red line is for this equation. And it's or. So they are separately okay. They can satisfy this equation separately. Either one of them satisfied, I'm okay with that answer. The numbers that are less than 10.3 are, I'm sorry, the numbers less than 5 are already in the numbers less than 10.3. So my final answer would be x is less than or equal to 31 over 3. Because I don't need to write two of the same things. And where's my thingy? So see, x is less than or equal to 31 over 3 because it is saying or. There you go. And let's go from there. So 3x, let's put the light on now. There we go. 3x minus 91 greater than negative 87. See what I mean with the numbers in Khan Academy? They go big sometimes. So have a calculator that you can use. And let's do a 17x minus 16 greater than 18. There we go. So let's start solving with this. Plus 91 plus 91. Well, this cancels. 3x is greater than negative 87 plus 91. What's that going to be? Flip it around. 91 minus 87.
9.
4.
Really? Oh, I put a wrong number. I was like, wait, what? Oh no, I put a wrong number in.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, 4.
It's okay. Excuse me. And then I'm dividing by the coefficients, and x is greater than 4 over 3. Because it's Khan Academy, I'm going to leave it like this, okay? And the next one is, what am I going to do first?
Add the 16 to the 18.
Add the 16 to the 18 and the negative 16, so I can cancel it. So 17x greater than 18 plus 16 is 34. Divide by the coefficient, x is greater than 2. Now I need to draw my line because, again, x is greater than 2. This one is going to come to about 1.3. So, oops, this is 1.3, and let's say this is 2. Now, how is my signs going to be on the number line? Are they going to be solid or hollow circles?
Hollow.
Hollow circles. So, boom. Boom. Now, x is greater than 4 over 3. All the numbers that are greater than 1.3, they go this way. All the numbers greater than 2. Oops, wrong color, wrong color. Greater than 2 goes this way. Now, this is what I meant. See, the only numbers, because this is an and, the only overlapping that's happening is after all the numbers greater than 2. So the numbers before 2, between 1.3 and 2, will not satisfy both of these equations at the same time. And when I say satisfy, plug in those numbers. So between 1.3 and 2, I have 1.5. If I plug in 1.5, I'm only going to satisfy this equation. But if I plug in, let's say, 3, which is greater than 2, I'm going to satisfy both of these equations at the same time. So in this case, my final answer would be all the numbers that are greater than 2. To show that, look, 3. We picked, let's say, I mean, the smallest whole number. So 3. 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 91 is going to give you negative 82. 9 minus 91. Because if I plug in 3 for this, right? 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 91 is negative 82. Negative 82 is a greater number than negative 87 because it is negative numbers. So it works for that. Let's check for this one. 3. 17 times 3 is 51. 51 minus 16 is 35. 35 is greater than 18. So it works for that one too. So the only numbers that's going to satisfy both of these equations at the same time are the numbers greater than 2. And there you go. All right. Does that explain the whole overlapping, no solution, etc.? Because let's say you're working with an AND question, you graph them, and there is no overlapping happens. The answer will be there are no solutions. Because there is no overlapping, that means there is no set of numbers that will satisfy both of those equations at the same time. That will, when you plug any value. And check it like I just did if you're having hard time with the question. Let's put this over here and make it a little bit more visibly possible. There we go. So That's that.